my list of top 10 Big Ten quarterbacks dropped today. So this was a different.
So this show is going to be an hour and a half then.
Yeah, we don't. I mean, we talked about it a little bit yesterday. We won't need to do a whole half hour on it, but we do need to talk about this. And also, it doesn't need to be all SEC this week. Like, there are other leagues. So
no, we've been accused of being a SEC show, and this week that should be appropriate because it's SEC Media Days, and then next week will be a Big Ten show, and we did a lot.
We're going to be very Big Ten heavy next week. We were very Big 12 heavy last week. Like, yeah.
We're making the rounds here, but I do appreciate a little Big Ten flavor to end the show. So let's get into it.
Well, this was a much different kind of list because the Big Ten this year is kind of where the SEC was last year, where there's a lot of unproven quarterbacks, and you don't really know what they're going to be. So this would be like trying to rank Lenora Sellers going into his year last year, DJ Lagway going into his year last year, even though he wasn't the starter. So we don't know where, and Ari's looking at the list, and now he's freaking.
Like, yeah, because I haven't looked at the list yet. I wanted to be surprised by it on the show, and I'm like percolating right now. Like I have a lot of.
Here we go.
Okay.
for the folks on the podcast that don't have the visual, number 1 is Drew Allar from Penn State. Number 2 is Luke Altmyer from Illinois. Number 3, I'm sure this is one that caught Ari's eye, Fernando Mendoza from Indiana.
No, it didn't.
Number 4, Nico Iamaleava from UCLA. Number 5, Dante Moore from Oregon. Number 6, Dylan Raiola from Nebraska. Here's where I think Ari's going to get a little saucy. Number 7, Julian Sayin from Ohio State. Number 8, Bryce Underwood from Michigan. Number 9, Damon Williams Jr. from Washington. And number 10, Mark Gronowski from Iowa. All right, Ari, go.
Okay, first of all, has anybody talked shit to you about the Ohio State-Michigan situation here?
But of course.
Okay, are they freaking out? Explain.
I don't know how to break this to you, but everybody on the internet thinks the list is wrong.
No, I know, but explain the calculus between those two unproven guys at rival schools.
One is throwing to Jeremiah Smith and one's not.
Okay, and one is a year older.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. The thing that I am loving about this list is that, like, when you did the SEC list, I was like, okay, yeah, I mean, I think they're all generally in the right places. Like, this has a high likelihood of just being completely wrong at the end of the year.
Of course, because like if Bryce Underwood is as amazing as we thought, but we've not seen him play a snap, then he might be number 1 by the end of this.
I think that it's conceivable that 7, 8, 9, or 10 could be won by the end of the year.
Entirely possible.
Which I'm not sure was the case in the SEC.
So that'd be Julian Sayin, Bryce Underwood, Damon Williams Jr., Mark Gronowski.
Like, what if Mark Gronowski is just completely electric at Iowa? Like, I think that is on the table.
They're on the and that's the thing. Mark Gronowski, for those who don't know, came to Iowa from South Dakota State. He's the 2023 Walter Payton Award winner. So basically the FCS Heisman. He played another year at South Dakota State, even though there's a ton of interest in getting him into the FBS. He was banged up in this spring, so we don't really know what he's going to be yet, but he's a dual threat guy. Very possible this is the most competent quarterback play Iowa has had in a long time.
What about electric Iowa play? Could you imagine like dropping a player like Johnny Manziel into Iowa City?
Well, like Brad Banks.
Yeah, but like, yeah.
So
but like modern day Iowa is what I mean.
Yeah. They're a playoff team if that happens. They're a playoff team.
Yeah. This list is right, I think, right now. But nobody would get it right.
Right, because we don't know. We don't know how good Dante Moore is going to be. We don't know what kind of jump Dylan Raiola might take. We do not know what Julian Sayin is, and we don't know what Bryce Underwood is yet. With Julian Sayin,
you know what Damon Williams is yet?
I got a pretty good idea if there's last 2 games.
Well, I'm saying, like, if the last 2 games are him, then 9 is absurdly low.
Well, but they still lost those last 2 games too.
I know, so but like they're going to be much better as a team, I think, this year. I don't know. This is a very good quarterback season. Like this season, I think this is the highest. This might be the most star-studded or most exciting quarterback season of my career.
Well, and what's interesting about it is the Big Ten does not have the establishments. The SEC and the Big 12 have a lot of established ones. The ACC has some. Drew Allar is the most established guy in the Big Ten. Luke Altmyer, I get, I get people who love him. I get people who hate him. Ariel Jarrell, this list doesn't even include Jaden Mayava. No, because I'm not sure Jaden Mayava is going to wind up starting at USC by the end of the season. Because Hassan Longstreet might be that guy.
Who would have thought that at this point in the Lincoln Riley era at USC that you would do a list of top 10 quarterbacks in the Big Ten and that his quarterback wouldn't be anywhere on the list, but you would have representatives from Nebraska, Indiana, Illinois, and Iowa on it.
It's crazy, but it's also that Lincoln Riley has a freshman who might be the dude, and we don't know. We don't know if he's going to be or not.
I guess it's conceivable that a player that's not on the list or even set to start could be on this list by the end of the year.
Yeah. Yeah. So Fernando Mendoza is one that the sickos who are diehards for this show know all about Fernando Mendoza because you watched Cal games last year. He was great. His teammates around him, like the supporting cast was not good. Jaden Ott was hurt a lot of the year. Like Fernando Mendoza is a really good quarterback, and he got put with a bunch of talent around him. Indiana brings back a lot.
And he could have been a quarterback at a power school, like not a power conference school, but like an elite level.
Georgia wanted him.
Yeah. So yeah, this is an insane list and just a reminder or a reinforcement of how deep the quarterback position is. Like, I don't even know. I'm sure you're doing the Big 12 and the ACC, but the Big 12 is going to be a nightmare for you.
The Big 12 is really tough because there's so many experienced starters coming back. ACC is a little bit easier, but I think the Big 10 is the hardest one because you don't really know what you're going to get out of Moore and Sayin and under. Like Sayin, I feel very confident. If Sayin is adequate, their offense is good because Jeremiah Smith and Cardell Tater are there.
I put Nico in the spring in my top 10 quarterbacks in the country.
I know.
Right, River?
I know.
Yeah.
I remember that. I didn't.
And I
remember some Tennessee fans being really mad one day and then suddenly the next day not so mad.
River's the perfect case study for the fan psyche because he was like, hell yeah, Ari. And like now it's like, fuck that guy.
Here's the thing about Nico, though. Nico was good, but not great as Tennessee's starting quarterback last year. If he'd been able to hit deep balls, they're a much better team. His stats are much better. Like he had pretty decent stats. He took care of the ball. He only threw 5 interceptions to 19 touchdowns. But I want to say he averaged 7.9 yards per attempt. Like you want that number to be closer to 9. 10 would be even better. But if he hits some deep balls, then it does get up there. And I think
nitpick though.
Yeah, nitpick away.
Nitpick your list because, like, as we're talking about it, there are certain things that are standing out now.
Sure.
And like maybe this is just like me being overly nitpicky, but if you ranked Julian Sand ahead of Bryce Underwood because of players around him and like the fact that he will be just productive by default no matter what, then do you neg Nico a little bit more than you did for being on a team that doesn't have much star power?
Well, but I'm negging Bryce Underwood. Because they don't have the receiving core that a lot of these other teams do.
I know, but UCLA doesn't either. So you're making a statement that you think.
I think Nico could be pretty good because Nico's not going to have to play as many good defenses as he played. He'll have to play some, but it won't be as bad of a schedule as he played last year. Do you think it's
possible that Nico like is a Heisman candidate in the end of October?
I'm not sure about that. Looking at the schedule.
Utah is a tough opener.
Utah's going to be tough. But it's pretty manageable till you get to Indiana.
That is
the back half of the schedule is brutal.
That's a sneaky good game on a day that has a ton of good games. Wait, no, is the 30th the Saturday or is 30th the Friday?
That's the Saturday, yeah.
Yeah, that's a sneaky good game in a sea of really good games.
Yeah, that's a great let's throw the 3 sneaky great first weekend games out. It's UCLA, Utah. It's Auburn, Baylor on Friday night. And it's Colorado, Georgia Tech, which I think might be Thursday.
Yeah. Is Virginia Tech, South Carolina anything to you?
Sunday. That's Sunday afternoon.
Oh, that's Sunday. Okay.
It's our preview for Notre Dame, Miami Sunday night.
Tennessee Q's. You don't fist pump, River, because you're not going to like what I said. Tennessee Q's might be one of the more interesting games of the day when the day is over, because Tennessee is on the ropes. Like at some point, like is that?
And we don't know what Tennessee's going to look like at all.